Hello there, and welcome to today's episode of The Lovable Madman. The Force is an integral part of the Star Wars mythos, and we get our first explanation of it pretty early in the original movie. Obi-Wan explains to Luke that it's an energy field that surrounds us, penetrates us, and binds the universe together. There's a similar scene in The Phantom Menace between Qui-Gon Jinn and Anakin Skywalker. However, here, Anakin asks about midi-chlorians. Qui-Gon tells him that midi-chlorians are a bacteria that inhabit all living things and are the source of a Jedi's powers. Midi-chlorians were one of the many controversial things to come out of the prequels, with the view being that giving an explanation to the Force ruins its mysticism and its uniqueness. Today, I wanted to share how I've always interpreted midi-chlorians in a way that keeps the mystery of the Force intact without diminishing the importance of the midi-chlorians to Star Wars lore. We need to start with Anakin's question of, what are midi-chlorians and what can they actually do? According to Star Wars lore, they inhabit the cells of all living beings throughout the galaxy. We know that their planet of origin is the wellspring of life, which is one of the many nexus points for the Force. The priestesses of the Force that live there claim that they speak to the midi-chlorians throughout the galaxy. The Jedi Order of the Old Republic believed that the midi-chlorians were the original forms of life in the galaxy and that it wouldn't exist without them. Darth Sidious claimed that Darth Plagueis the Wise was so powerful that he could manipulate the midi-chlorians into bringing forth brand new life. Is Qui-Gon correct when he says that midi-chlorians are the source of one's Force powers? No, he's not. But why he believed that to be the case, along with the other Jedi of his time, is important, and I'll go over why shortly. There is solid evidence that the Force is separate from midi-chlorians. First of all, Force users can manipulate droids and other inanimate objects. If the Force was only connected through midi-chlorians, it makes sense that only those with organic components would be affected. When a Force user manipulates these objects, they're manipulating the energy field of the Force, not midi-chlorians. Kyber crystals that power lightsabers also have a connection with the Force, which is why they respond when young Jedi go and seek them out. Crystals are a mineral. They don't have any organic cells for the midi-chlorians to inhabit. The Witches of Dathomir have a very different kind of relationship with the Force and use ancient rituals to connect with it. There doesn't seem to be any kind of connection with who they can imbue with their Force powers and what their natural midi-chlorian count actually is. And Force ghosts, who have no physical bodies, yet they can communicate through the Force to the living and manipulate objects. All midi-chlorian free. How do I interpret midi-chlorians? Simple. They're just the smart bacteria that feed directly on the energy of the Force itself. They began on the wellspring of life in the plants and animals native to the planet. We see not only light, but these spore-looking things that leave the planet and spread throughout the galaxy. And within these spores are the midi-chlorians. Now we know there are several races and species that can survive in the vacuum of space, providing another way for midi-chlorians to jump from planet to planet. Because the Force binds all living things in the universe together, the midi-chlorians were able to find homes wherever they went. Those with a greater Force sensitivity have a higher midi-chlorian count because there's more Force energy for them to feed off of. As for the midi-chlorians telling their hosts the will of the Force, that's not exactly how I think it works. The Force is the energy of the universe, and I think the midi-chlorians create kind of a hive mind with their hosts, more or less just kind of boosting the signal of whatever's being communicated through the force. So if the force and the midi-chlorians are two very separate things, then why do the midi-chlorians still matter? This is where Qui-Gon's answer comes into play. He put emphasis on the midi-chlorians and not on the force. Obi-Wan, after having been able to reflect on why the Jedi Order fell, did the exact opposite. Qui-Gon claimed that without midi-chlorians, they would have no knowledge of the Force, but that isn't true. Several races throughout the galaxy knew of the Force just under a different name, including the Chiss, who developed in the unknown regions away from the influence of the Republic and the Jedi. Midi-chlorians provide a quick and tangible way to see how force sensitive an individual is, and not really anything else. Instead of jumping from planet to planet and following every potential rumor or whisper of someone with extraordinary abilities, a young Jedi Order probably quickly learned that those with a certain amount of this bacteria were force sensitive and began recruiting from there. Eventually, it would get to the point where they could identify these people as babies and would stop taking in new acolytes after 3 or 4 years old. This would lead to the Jedi's sense of self-superiority. The importance of the midi-chlorian and the powers of the Jedi would become inseparable and take precedence over the Force itself. Their focus on what set them apart instead of what bound them with the rest of the galaxy would spell their doom. Whatever direction Star Wars chooses to go with midi-chlorians, I hope that the mystery of the Force itself is able to stay intact. I hope you enjoyed my interpretation of what midi-chlorians are and how they fit into the larger Star Wars lore. And I want to know what you thought of it, if you agreed with it or if you disagreed with it. Do you have your own interpretations of midi-chlorians or any part of Star Wars? Or do you just wish that midi-chlorians had never been brought up in the first place? Leave any thoughts in the comments below. Whether you agreed or disagreed with my take on midi-chlorians, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like. And if you want to see more from me, be sure to subscribe. Today's trivia: in 2006, Australian researcher Nate Lowe discovered a new kind of bacteria living within the cells of a species of tick. With George Lucas's permission, he named this new bacteria Midi-chloria mitochondria. Thank you for watching, and may the Force be with you.